Hi, welcome to tonight's installment of Roam Around Rome. My name is From of the Future, and during my roam, the verb, around Rome, the capital, I gathered information about a riot that broke out a few nights ago in Margarita Hall during a futurist serata. So I will be interviewing different perspectives from witnesses of this event. First, I will be interviewing a musician performer. Please introduce yourself, sir. My name is Alessandro Lorenzo Amerigo Fernandez Mateo Lafleur, but you can call me Olafem. Great. Now, a lot of people will think that this riot broke out due to the music. So, how is this style of music different from the more traditional music you used to play? And why do you think this makes the audience so combative? This style of music is drastically different than what I was used to playing. The music I was used to playing was soft, melodic, and conforming to what society wanted. I was very nervous before the performance because I felt it was very unconventional. This music, although I'd call it a futuristic audible experience, is a lot more realistic, encapsulating, and innovative. It's loud, odd, and familiar, but it's better. The audience is so combative with this because they view it as aggressive and they're resistant to change. They must realize, though, it's 1921. This isn't the olden days anymore. Progression is happening, and we should jump on this loud, unfamiliar train and ride it straight into the future. Interesting answer. Now, Mr. Lafleur, do you feel that this music is an important contributing factor to pushing this futurism movement forward? Like I said in the previous answer, I see this as a futuristic audible experience. I honestly believe that this music is the most important part of the movement, while the other facets, such as acting, dancing, painting, composing, etc., can all be personally interpreted, with the futuristic aspect potentially being lost. Music is the opposite. It's real and physical and tactile. It simply ties it all together. You can't miss it. You could watch someone dance with these new futuristic jolting movements, but without the sound going along with it, it doesn't have the same feeling, the same meaning. I'm not biased as a musician. I truly believe that the sounds we make as futuristic musicians are the metaphoric roads that this unfamiliar train uses to take us or elevate us to the future. Wow, amazing. Now, slightly derailing from the riot, how were these sounds created for this performance that caused it? We started by using the instruments we already had to make beautifully grotesque sounds. For example, fast movements on strings would cause screeching and skin crawling sounds, and horns would make loud belching sounds rather than playing them regularly. And for piano, we would play multiple clusters of keys at the same time to make these uncomfortable sounds. We would also implement other materials to block or accentuate our sounds, along with keeping our instruments out of tune. We realized this wasn't enough though, so we made machines that had specific sounds from wind-ups or buttons. They made sounds that humans couldn't, which elevated our performance. This was a large part in the riot because rioters could not deal with the sounds that they were hearing because they felt as though they were demonic and unrealistic. Well, thank you, Mr. LaFleur, for these answers. Any last thoughts? This riot was definitely a traumatizing experience for me, and I think it just goes to show the resistance of the public to change, even if it's in the positive direction. Thank you for having me. Well, that was an interesting interview. We will now transition to another person involved in this riot, a dancer, and we will be getting her opinion on this situation. Please introduce yourself, ma'am. My name is Francois Declaire. Great to meet you, Mrs. Declaire. Now I'm going to ask you, physically, how does this style of dance differ from a more traditional way of dancing or performing, in your opinion? And why do you think this incited a riot? The way that I used to dance was graceful and beautiful, but now it's more orchestrated and rigid. We utilize pantomime, lines of force, and emotional ambiance, along with other things to help us get our message across. The ritualistic movements cause us to look demonic, which is probably why the audience pushed back so heavily and started a riot. People truly aren't used to this new thing and they're resistant to it, and their only answer seems to be violence, hence the riot. Now, when it comes to this futuristic movement, how does it make you feel and why are you participating? This futuristic movement makes me very conflicted. I believe that it's taking us in the right direction. I'm just afraid that the public will destroy it before we can get it off the ground. I think that the art we've been doing thus far is fine and beautiful. It's just getting old and dull. This new sense of the future can make things more exciting, get us out of a depression, and lighten up the world. I'm participating because it feels freeing to express myself in ways I never thought possible. I've been enlightened and I want to spread this enlightenment to others. And if this picks up, I want to be a part of history. Wow, what a beautiful answer, Mr. Clare. Now, as for the riot, how are you dealing with the backlash from the audience on the streets and during the performance? It really is tough. I try to wear masks out in public because, as dull minded as these people are, if they hated a face enough, they can remember it. But during the riot, I just hid behind the actors' props and shields as the audience threw rotten tomatoes at us. But I don't let their aggression get to me because I know that I'm participating in something greater than myself. It just really is a shame that it has to come to this, though. Truly, some powerful words. Well, it has been an amazing interview with you, with your enlightening responses. Thank you, Ms. Diggler, for joining us. Lastly, we are going to speak with an audience member, one who participated in the riot as it broke out. Please introduce yourself for us, sir. My name is Violent Riotor, but you can call me Vin. All right, Vin. What are your thoughts on this futurism movement? I hate it. Okay, specifically, I hate all of it. It's so demonic and unrealistic and just absolutely terrible. I wanted to be happy and go see a good show on a good December day, and I was totally ruined after the experience. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy to sit and watch what I had the misfortune of watching. All the odd movements, screeching sounds, and visuals, it was all just a nightmarish fever dream. Art used to be so beautiful and meaningful, and now they're just allowing trash on stages. I hate this movement and I hope it ends soon. I am overjoyed that they sell rotten vegetables outside the theater because throwing them at the performers was the only enjoyable part of this experience. Interesting. Incriminating and interesting. Now, even though you've explained to me your participation in this riot, can you tell me specifically how you felt about it? Well, I don't really feel like I'm a violent person, but I believe that the riot was necessary to restore the natural order. We can't allow people to corrupt us with false ideas. It is our job as the people to make sure that that doesn't happen by any means possible. I'm pretty sure that's one of our basic human rights in the natural laws or something. Plus, no one got seriously hurt. We threw rotten vegetables at them, which means that they were softer than if we had thrown fresh vegetables at them. The performers might have gotten dirty and maybe hurt by our words, but honestly, if we think about it, it's their fault for coming up with these ideas. So, asking me specifically how I felt about the riot, I'd say I specifically think it was necessary and I would specifically participate in. Thank you for these answers. I'm gonna ask you one more thing. Do you feel like this movement will catch on and succeed? And if so, will you join? There is absolutely no way this movement will catch on and become widespread. It is so widely hated, hence the riot we did, and I don't think this is anything more than a nasty phase. There is no success in this so called futuristictism or whatever it's called movement because this isn't the future of art and this isn't what it's going to look like. Art is meant to have meaning and to portray feelings, not be a combination of horrid sounds, aggressive movements, and disturbing visuals vomited onto a stage or a canvas. If for some reason this movement catches on, and it won't, I will not accept it and I will not join. I will be the one who holds to the traditional way of life. I will be the one who's uncorrupt and remember what true art was like and bring us back from destruction. Well, all right. Thank you, Mr. Violante, for joining us and giving us your very interesting perspective on this event. Well, that was tonight's installment of Rome Around Rome. This was From the Future, and I am signing off. And remember, if call him if you see him. You guys have a good night.